How class in these chapters we're going to talk about the data storage more deeply, but before we dive into it, let's take a quick look at the evolution of computers from the early days to present. And first we look at the early computers, which is very challenged to use in the previous day because it requiring continuous data inputs and lacking of the abilities to store program or data. So you can think it is very inefficiency and also difficult to use because they relied heavily on human interventions. So therefore, in 1940s, a new architecture was proposed, which is phenomenal architectures. It make a revolution in computer designs, and these architectures introduced the concept of CPUs and enable to direct to access the memory by CPUs, which make the computer more improving in the processing skills, and also these architectures with abilities to store both data and program in the storage, and the computer memories become more adaptable and also leading to a wide range of applications and also increase the usabilities. So in this chapter we're going to talk about the important part of the phenomenon architectures, which is the memory we briefly talk in the previous chapter. First we're going to talk about the main memory, and the main memory refers to internal device used to storage uh, data and can be directly accessed by computers, and also as we call it primary memory. And uh, main memory includes two type of memory, which is ROM and RAM. And we're going to talk about ROM, and ROM is the type of the memory that user cannot alter. It means data in ROM is written during the manufacturing and also is primarily used to store the basic instruction need during in the system boot process. Those instructions automatically execute every time when the computer is open, is power on. And ROM has a characteristic of the permanently retaining data even when the computer is turned off. And next we're going to talk about the RAM. And RAM is essential type of memory found in all computer system, and RAM is characteristic by the ability to read and write data, meaning that user or computers can change the data stored in it and make temporary memory, because when we want applications or program data is with from the second memory we had taught it before. And because in RAM it make it more faster than in the second memory. And we can see RAM have two type of it, which is dynamic RAM, which is DRAM, and one of the static RAM, SRAM. And DRAM is made of transistors and capacitor and requesting consistent refreshing of the transistor capacitors change, and otherwise the data will quickly disappears because it changing very refreshing very frequently. And compare with this is SRAM, the static random access memory, and it is using FIFO to maintain each memory bit and does not need to refreshing, and resulting in faster data access, but is costly and also with higher power consumption. So in this comparison you can think it make the uh, DRAM become the most common use type of RAM because it is more cost effectively and also low power consumption and also large memory capacity. But SRAM on the other hand, they have his advantage, which is very fast, so we will use it in the CPU category memory. um, this is the RAM uh, briefly described, so let's move on the second memory. And second storage memory can categorize into three types based on the technology used. One is magnetic storage, which is HDD's hard disk drive, and the second is the uh, SSD, which is solid state drive, and the third is the optical medias. First, we're going to talk about the HDD hard disk device, and hard disk drive are one of the most common methods of the data storage in computers, and in HDD, track and sectors are two important concepts used to organize the storage. We can see into the pictures. Uh, you can see the sectors uh, is a small portion of track, and track is a circular magnetic areas on the hard disk panel, and where the data is stored in it, and with multiple track like the ring of a tree, and each track is numbered for identifications and access, and sector is a small portion of track used to store the data. Track are divided into sectors, with each sectors able to store a certain amount of data, uh, which is smallest unit of the hardware. And when the data need to read or write, just move the uh, writing head to the specific track and the sectors. Like this example, we like to with these areas, and the ID of track is 5, the sector is 2, so just springing right here and use the writing head to read the data or write the data. And the next one is about SSD, stands for solid state drive. Um, Typically use technologies called NAND, but we don't want to go deep with it. We will introduce it in the chapter 10. So let's just before that, just have a memory on it, and after we go to the chapter 10, look deep on it. And this type of memory is made of many small electronics components that can store status, and they have the significant advantages over the hard disk device because they have no moving part like the HDD. They don't need to move the reading or writing head to some area, so you can see the advantage of the solid state drive is more reliable with lighters because they don't have that much space, and also no startup time requires, low power consumption, low operating temporary, and very thin because and no moving part, and also much faster data access speeds compared to HDDs, but they still have the disadvantage. Uh, and the disadvantage is it has more more shorter lifespanning on it. Uh, but this issue is gradually improving. And the last is about optical medias. And optical media such as CDs and DVDs are storage device that use lasers light to read or write data, and data is stored on the disk of the spiral track as the pitch and length like this, and those disks can be uh, recordable once or read or writable multiple times. We call it RDOP. And you may think, how did they read or write? And we can see in the pictures, uh, when it reading some things, they use the lasers detector refraction and convert them into the data signal, which represent the data. And when it want to write, and they use stronger lasers beam is used to alter the surface of the disk, those write data. And that is for today's class, and see you in the next lesson.